Hello, Mackenzie. Thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, no problem.
So what's up? What has happened since our last session?
Well, kind of a lot. Um, Me and my husband got in a major fight last night, and I moved out, or not moved out, but I left and went to a friend's house, and I'm staying there. So it was a pretty bad fight. He didn't hit me or anything, but
Yeah, I'm sure that was really difficult because I know that you've been, trying to please your husband. Can you tell me a little bit about how the fight got started?
yeah. My husband, I was at home. My husband came home from work, and he just started getting on me about not having a job still, and I was telling him that I was trying, and I was trying to stay sober, and I've been going to AA meetings, and I'm still sober for 2 weeks now, and he just was getting so mad at me about not having a job and not providing for the family, and our kids were there, and it just kept escalating, and we were just yelling at each other, and no one was making any sense. So I just left. I couldn't be around him anymore.
Do you recall what exactly prompted him to start getting on your case?
I think that the fact that he came home and I was there, and he asked me what I had done during the day, and I had been to a meeting, and hadn't really done anything besides that, because I was keeping me busy, and he was just wanted food to be on the table and the kids to be taken care of, and the kids had just gotten home, so nothing had really been done, and he was probably stressed out from being at work, and he just started talking about him being the only one that's providing for our family, and it was just.
So with him feeling like you're not doing enough to contribute, how does that make you feel?
I mean, crappy. I'm I'm trying to stay sober, and that is a huge deal.
It
That's a
definitely is.
huge deal for me, and I've been successful so far. And he doesn't seem to appreciate that. He just, is so focused on me getting a job, and I want to get a job, but um, right, it's difficult right now to try to stay sober and also, show a place that I can be reliable and not be drunk. I don't know. I just feel mad at him.
That is a lot. I know that's a lot of pressure on you. Your husband not feeling supportive of all that you're going through, and you have been working really, really hard. So I know it's frustrating and disappointing. Um, can you describe to me a little bit more about your anger and feeling crappy? Um, how are you experiencing these feelings?
I feel just feel like mad, and like that he's disappointed in me, and that I don't know. I just feel like nothing I can do will please him, and nothing is good enough for him, and that's hurtful. That makes me feel like I'm not worth anything, even though I'm doing something to help myself and help our family. Um, he's just making it feel like none of that is worth it.
How would you say that you are experiencing or coping with the emotions that you're feeling, the anger and the disappointment?
I mean, I just exploded at him like I do. Um, so not well. um, I just, he just, hit that button and I just, rage just kind of comes over me and blinds me. And I'm just so annoyed that that is what he's focusing on is the job and that is what he's picking a fight about. And he doesn't seem to see that I'm trying so hard to stay sober and that it is so hard, and him picking on me about getting a job is not helping that.
It sounds, like you're really experiencing a lot. I'm sure it's quite difficult, because on one hand, you're saying you're angry, you're angry with your husband. On the other hand, you want, it sounds like you really desperately want his approval, and his support. Um, so it does seem, like there is some kind of confusion there.
I do. I need his support. I need him to help me through this. I can't do it by myself. And I feel like he has done that in the past, but he's not doing it now. It's like this is too much for him. It's too much for me. I need his help.
But it's definitely a good thing that you are aware of all of the feelings that you're experiencing and your expectations from your husband. Um, and now that you are aware of these feelings, I would like to explore them with you. Sometimes it's very good to really voice, your opinion, whereas you may not get to with your husband when things are in the moment and you're upset, you're heated, you just kind of want to get away. Sometimes you don't really get to express yourself. I think it would be good for you to express yourself now, if that's something you feel comfortable doing.
Yeah.
So you're gonna talk to yourself. Your angry side is gonna be here in front of you.
Okay.
So you're gonna talk to your angry side, and then this side is gonna be the side that wants your husband's approval. So kind of go back and forth um, with each other.
Okay. And I am myself that wants approval.
You're gonna talk to your angry side.
Okay.
And then you'll be your angry side and you'll talk to the side that wants your husband's support.
Okay. Why are you so angry? Why do you have to explode like that and make him even more mad and, get out of control? That's what has caused you to drink in the past. You shouldn't do that. You need to learn to calm yourself down and control that a little better. You need to not get so upset. That isn't going to help anything. And, your husband is under a lot of pressure to provide for, everyone while you don't have a job. So maybe you could think about what he's feeling and try to calmly talk to him.
Now tell your angry side, how that must have been, for your children. How that angry side made your children feel.
That probably scared your kids a lot. They don't need to be seeing you guys fighting like that. That's something that you should handle without them there. or talk to them about what's going on. You remember what it was like to hear your parents fighting, and that's something that's always stayed with you. Um, you don't want them to blame themselves. It's not their fault that any of this has happened, and they need to know that that's not who you want them to see. That's not the mom that you want them to see.
That was very good. That was very good. How do you feel about that conversation you had with the angry Mackenzie?
I feel like that was kind of the voice of reason, you know. It's what I should be telling myself when I get mad or when we're fighting. And it kind of made me sad to think about my kids hearing us fighting like that or having to like watch that happen. I just remember watching my dad yell at my mom and when he'd been drinking, and that's the worst. That was a bad memory. And I don't want my kids to have to experience that.
So, when you're fighting with your husband and you're angry, those feelings that you're experiencing, do they remind you of your childhood and when your father will be, verbally abusive towards you and your mother?
Yeah, I did. He used to just come home drunk all the time and just rail on my mom, and it would be about nothing. It would be about if the dishes weren't cleaned, he would just go crazy, and she would start yelling that he needed to clean himself up and get himself together. And I just remember staying awake at night with my brother and my sister listening to them, and that's kind of haunted me. And that is not what I want my family to look like.
That's understandable. That is understandable. So your father would yell at your mother because the dishes weren't done, maybe because housework wasn't done. Can you describe to me a specific incident that you remember?
One time, we were home with my mom, and we were supposed to have cleaned up the living room because we had people spend the night before, and me and my brother and my sister. And we hadn't gotten around to it yet because mom was making dinner, so we had eaten dinner and we were doing our homework, and she was helping us, so nothing in the kitchen was cleaned up either. And my dad came home drunk, and he started yelling at my mom about everything that was laid out and yelling at us, and she sent us to our room, but we could still hear them. And he just started telling her that she wasn't a good mom and she wasn't a good wife and she should have all this stuff cleaned up and taken care of, and he just wanted to come home and have a place to relax, and she hadn't done that, and it was just scary. And I felt like it was our fault because we didn't clean up our mess, and if my mom didn't have to clean up after us, then she wouldn't have gotten in trouble with my dad.
So if you had been in your mom's shoes, what would you have said? What would you have liked to have said to your father that day?
I would have told him to step off. That, it wasn't my fault that there are other things that needed to be done that were more important than cleaning up. The kids needed to be fed, and I was helping them with their homework, and that that was more important, and he had no right to come in like that and start yelling in front of the kids, and he needed to get his crap together and get sober because that was not okay, and I don't want to live that way anymore.
Yeah. How how did it make you feel, when your dad would get angry and yell at you and your mother?
I just felt like crying. Um, I felt like I was a bad daughter, that I hadn't done something right, that I could have done something better. I was sad. I wanted my dad to love me and, approve of me. And I didn't feel like I got that validation from him.
And every child deserves to be loved and approved of by their parents. You definitely deserve that. Um, what Pretend that your father is here
Okay.
now. What would you say to him?
You need to get sober, or you need to get out of our lives because this is not working. You should have left or gotten better a long time before we left you. You had no right to talk to my mom that way. You had no right to talk to us that way. You had no right to scare us like that. You were mean, and I didn't like that, and I just wanted you to love me, and that's terrible that you didn't make me feel that way. I wish you would have done that.
Very good. It's very good. Now, how would you say you dealt with, the emotions behind your father's behavior when you were younger?
His emotions?
How did you deal with his behavior?
Um, I just tried to be a good kid. I tried to be the best that I could. I tried to clean everything up before my dad ever saw it. I tried to take care of my brother and sister for my mom so she could do whatever she needed to do. I tried to get good grades, and when I was old enough, get a job. I just tried to be as good as possible so he wouldn't get mad at me or at my mom or anyone else.
So now, as an adult, couple of sessions back, I recall you saying that, you felt useless and kind of hopeless because you've been laid off and you're not, contributing to your financial situation at home. Um, but I know since then you've tried, really hard. You've been trying really hard to find work and, to take care of your children and cook and clean it, do the housework. And I see that in you today, when you were talking about what all you had done for the day. You're trying really hard, but your husband's not being supportive. Um, how do you feel about knowing, a couple of sessions ago you felt useless?
I think when I was fighting last night with my husband that I did feel useless. I felt like he thought I was useless. I felt like I did when I was younger and my dad was yelling at my mom or me. Um, yeah, I felt useless. I know that I'm trying really hard and trying to find a job and trying to stay sober. But it's hard to convince my husband that I'm doing those things or to get him to see that and recognize that. And when he doesn't recognize that, then I do feel useless. You know, it's like, what was the point of all that? You know, what's the point of being sober? What's the point of trying?
So you said that's how you felt last night
Mm-hmm.
after your fight. Now that you've calmed down, do you still feel that way?
I know in my head that I'm not useless, but it's hard to convince myself of that. It's hard to know, oh, I'm not useless, and then like use that to defend against feeling useless. I don't know. I can think that I'm not useless, but I have a hard time feeling that way, even now.
Okay. So when you leave here today, what are your plans?
I'm staying with a friend, so um, I'll probably go back there and um, the kids will be with me tonight. So I'll take care of them, and I'll probably, I guess, keep applying for jobs. I have an AA meeting tonight, so my friend is gonna go with me to that.
So it sounds like that there is conflict, from being a child and having your father, you know, kind of talk down to you, not appreciate you and support you. Um, and the same thing with your husband. Um, like I said, I see that you're proud of your accomplishments, and you are doing very, very well, very well. I'm proud of you. Um, do you feel that talking through your ambivalence has helped you kind of understand where the conflict is coming from, how your past is relating to your thoughts now about yourself and why you got angry with your husband's behavior.
Yeah, I can see that it's kind of a continuation of a pattern from my past. I felt like I did when I was younger. You know, last night I can see that that's kind of the same feeling. Um, but I also know that I'm older now, and this is my family, not the one I grew up in. I'd like to change the way that I react.
It seems to me as though you last night, your anger and your packing up the children and leaving, um, is a defense, a defense mechanism from not having to deal with the feelings of not being accepted, not being supported, not being good enough, not trying hard enough. And I believe it would help if you would let your husband know exactly, how you feel, and not use that defense to escape your disappointment. And I know it's hard when he's upset with you and you're upset. It's really hard. So what I would like to do, since the other exercises have helped, I would like for you to talk to your husband. Um, say, say you go home today, or you call him on the phone, um, and you want to plead your case to him. You want to tell him exactly how you feel deep down inside, not the angry Mackenzie, um, but the Mackenzie who loves him and needs his help, who needs him to understand that you are trying your hardest and that you want to make things work. Okay, is that something that you would like to try here?
Yeah, I could do that.
So go for it.
Okay. First of all, I'm sorry that we fought last night. Um, that's not how I wanted to react. But when you came home and started telling me that, not having a job was, I don't know, a burden for our family, that just makes me feel so belittled. I feel like I did when I was younger and my dad was yelling at me and making me feel like I wasn't worth anything, and you made me feel like what I'm doing is not worth anything. I am trying so hard to stay sober for you and for our kids because I love you guys. And it's really hard. It's really hard, and I'm having a hard time with it. I'm doing it, but I'm having a hard time with it, and I need your help. I need your support, and I need to know that you think I can do it, and that you love me and you support me even when I don't have a job, and I need your support in getting a job and your patience, waiting for me to find one, and just your continued help to stay sober. I need you because I don't feel like I can do it by myself, and I want you to help me. Um, and I need to hear that from you. I need to know that you support me no matter what, and I'm trying my hardest, and I want you to know that. That felt good.
Okay.
Yeah, it did. That's what I wanted to say to him.
So explain good. What is good?
I feel relieved that he heard what I actually wanted to say, what I actually thought, and I wasn't yelling at him. I feel like I said everything I wanted to, and I feel like that's something that he could relate to more than me yelling at him. I feel like that let him know that I loved him, but I need him. And that's what I want him to know.
Now, when you say that you need him, what do you mean by that?
I need his support. I think, I don't know if I could do it by myself. I want to be able to, but he's so important to me and a big part of my life. And I just need to know that my family supports me in what I'm trying to do. I'm doing it for them. So I need help on that. Because I don't know that I could do it without his support.
Tell me. And I'm gonna keep telling you this. You've been doing so well. How do you think things will go if he doesn't allow you to express yourself?
Not well. Um, I think we'll just keep fighting until either I'm completely sober and have a job, or I don't know, we just stay apart from each other. I think he needs to know how I feel.
Do you think you will become angered again?
I don't know. I hope not. I could see myself becoming angered, but I'd like to think of a way that I could like keep myself from getting to that point, you know? Like stop myself before I just explode. Because I think he'd respond better to that.
I'm glad that you're willing to say that and to understand that, you know, that you do not want to get angry. You would rather express yourself, you know, and get your point across calmly. Um, so I'm glad that you are aware of that, and hopefully that is something that we can work on. Is controlling your anger. You said that you can kind of understand why your husband you know may be frustrated because he has a lot of weight, you know, the weight of taking care of the family financially. So maybe, you know, talk to him about that and express to him that you understand that that he has a lot going on, but you also, you know, are taking on a lot. So tell me, you've been clean, and what have you been doing to stay sober?
I've been going to the AA meetings. I've met some people there that have gone through the same thing, obviously. But I don't know. I found some people there that think I could be really good friends with. Um, and the more time we spend together, the less time I spend thinking about drinking. And I've been trying to find a job, so that search has kept me busy. And I haven't had a job, so I've been spending more time with my kids, so that's been good. Um, yeah, just trying to keep busy, I think. Doing positive things, not, I don't know, pitying myself.
That's good to hear. That's really good to hear. How does it make you feel to be doing these, you know, positive things?
It feels good. I feel productive, like I'm doing something worthwhile. Um, it's hard, but I can see in my kids' eyes when they see me playing with them and doing things with them, and they're not embarrassed by me, and they love me, and they like spending time with me. That feels good. That feels, I feel happy knowing that. It's a good feeling. One that I'd like to keep.
Very good. Tell me a little bit more um, about your meetings, the meetings that you've been attending.
Well, they happen at a church down the road from our apartment, so it's easy to get there. I usually go with, well, I was going with my friend that I'm staying with now. She volunteered to go with me. So she's been to a few, and once you go, they kind of hook you up with a sponsor. So there's a lady from the church that is my sponsor, and she, you know, I have her phone number, and I can call her anytime I need to, anytime I feel like drinking, so, or just need to talk. And she always answers her phone, and she's been really good to talk to about just the process that she's gone through and how she's remained sober. She's been sober for 10 years, so it's really encouraging to see someone that has gone through this and gotten to the other side and is staying sober, staying clean. And she kind of we can relate. We're friends, and so it's nice to be around someone that understands what I'm going through and is not just pitying me, or someone that I feel worthwhile around. That what I'm doing, they're encouraging me, and they're telling me that I'm doing a good job, and they're there to help me if I need help. They're a support for me. And yeah, we have a meeting a couple times a week. I kind of have a home group that I'm with, and we all keep tabs on each other. And in the meetings, we just talk about um, reasons why we want to be sober and encourage each other in that. And we share if someone has a relapse, because that's part of the journey. And I know that I don't want that to happen, but I know that they'll still be there even if I do relapse, which is good to know. They're a good support to have. I really like going.
I'm really glad. Because when we first discussed it, you wasn't sure. And I'm just so glad that this has worked out for you and that you're receiving the support, that you deserve.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult. There's gonna be times when you really wanna drink. You tell me when those times arise, what how do you plan on, you know, refraining from drinking?
Hopefully, I will call my sponsor, and she can kind of talk me down and maybe come and meet me wherever I am. I guess I'll try to just think about, how I want to be for my kids, and I want to be a mom that's there for them and someone they can look up to. And I try to spend time with the people in AA, and they can encourage me, and hopefully I can talk to my husband and he can listen when I'm having struggles and be supportive, and be someone that can talk to me and will understand what I'm experiencing and just be there for me.
I think it would be very good for you and your husband to attend therapy together. How would you feel about that?
I hadn't thought about that. I mean, I'm comfortable with you, so it might be a good way to be able to talk to him, or show him how I'm talking with you, or show him how I'm feeling. Maybe he could see what I need.
Both can have a calm setting, um, with someone, sort of a mediator, to allow you the opportunity to sit and really listen, to each other. I think it would also be a good idea for him to attend Al-Anon, which is for the families of alcoholics, um, or people who drink a lot. It would be good for him to hear from others you know, their experiences and what to expect and how to be supportive. You know, maybe he doesn't understand how to be supportive. Maybe he doesn't truly understand what you're going through, you know. So I think that would be good. Maybe talk to him about it. You know, if he'd be willing to attend, you know, the meetings for families.
That might be, listening to someone else might be better than just listening to me, hearing it from someone else's perspective. He might be open to that, I don't know. Yeah, I can ask him what he thinks about that.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Now back to your plan. I do believe, you know, your sponsor, you know, you've said she's been sober for 10 years. She's excellent to call. You can call me at any time, you know, but call, reach out for help, you know, when you need it. Also, because there's so much going on, you know, with you, at this time, you know, you're trying to remain sober. You know, you're not working. You know, you're doing more with the children. You're going to meetings. You're trying to be supportive for your husband, supportive to your husband, and you know, as you discussed with your father, you tended to try to do more, to try to overcompensate, you know, to get his approval. So, you know, I'm sure that you're going above and beyond at home to please your husband. Um, so I know that you're experiencing a lot of emotions and thoughts. And I would like for you to keep a journal, you know, of your experiences. If, you know, whatever emotion you're feeling through the day and whatever thoughts are involved, write it down. You know, if something bothers you, if you feel the urge to drink, write it down. You know, write down what triggered it, what emotions, you know, you're feeling. Anything you could think of. Think of, you know, if there's a moment in your past that you felt the same way, write it down.
Okay.
And then that'll help us understand, you know, more about your behaviors and, you know, maybe what emotions are serving as defense mechanisms, you know, for actual healthy emotions that need to be expressed. You know. So would you be willing to keep a journal?
Yeah, I could do that. That would probably be good. It might be a way, if I do feel like drinking, then I can immediately like do that instead and talk out what I want to, what I can do, what steps I can take to like not drink.
But I'm glad that you feel that way and you're willing to do that. I think that will definitely be a big help. So next week, when you return, we'll discuss, you know, your journal if you like, and we could come up with ways to maybe do things differently if you like. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, well, keep up the good work, Mackenzie. You've been doing an awesome job. Just try to remain patient with your husband. You're both experiencing a lot at the moment. So please don't lose your cool and do what's best for you. Take care of yourself and the children. Okay. So I'll see you next week.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.